His license plate said 3rd Armor, and he had many decals on the back window of his car. He was proud of his time in the Army. Although it was a tough run for him, it changed him forever. It taught him how to be a man, since he was only 17 when he entered. Apparently, he was a bit naughty growing up, or at least my grandfather thought so. He was a greaser, dressed in his rolled-up t-shirt and waterfall hairdo. He wanted to look just like Elvis, and he did. He just needed to work on his dance moves a little. But the Army made him tough, and he was proud of that, and the man that he became as a result. He wanted me to be tough too. He was a welterweight boxing champion in the Army. As a child, he taught me how to throw a punch or two. He wanted me to know how to fight and defend myself. He would let me punch his hands as hard as I could, and he would give me pointers as I did it. He didn't just instill physical strength in me, but mental strength as well. He was always determined to get me past my fears. He was proud of his strength and his ability to defend himself. He was always teaching other people how to get themselves out of trouble. If you wanted to learn how to break free from an assailant, my dad was the guy to ask. He had a love for politics and the political process as well. He was always on top of the latest news stories, issues on and off our shores. He was so well-read and paid such close attention to what was happening in the world around us. I actually have a confession. My news source for most of my life was not CNN, C-SPAN, ABC News, or anything similar. It was honestly my dad. There wasn't a single topic he couldn't comment on intelligently. So whenever I wasn't sure about what was being discussed on Meet the Press, my dad was always able to answer it in layman's terms. He was a great teacher, and he understood the political process. He instilled in me a passion at an early age to have a deep love for our country, the political process, and our freedom. It was important to him that we always thank our servicemen and women for their service to our country. I ask you today that if you want to remember my dad, the best way to remember him is to thank your servicemen and women whenever you see them. He was incredibly proud of that. He taught me so many things. He was a true historian with a strong focus on war in general, any war. He knew dates, times, and events to a T. He could recall the story behind the story. He loved discussing World War II and the Roman Empire. He was truly gifted when it came to history. His mind was so sharp when it came to the details, it would roll right off his tongue. Self-taught and fluent in Spanish, he was always trying to teach me the language as a child and remind me of it as an adult. As a kid, I thought it was so cool that my dad could speak another language. As a teenager in Spanish class, I stopped thinking it was so cool. He was always trying to have a full conversation in Spanish with me. It was like being in Spanish 1 in school and having AP Spanish at home. I would have to say to my dad, I have no idea what you're saying. We haven't gotten there yet. He just wanted me to love it the way that he did. And though I can barely remember half of it now, I promise Dad I will never forget how to ask for a glass of water in Spanish. That one he drilled into my head permanently. He taught me about the concept of stick-to-itiveness, and it served me well over the years. He always encouraged me to do my best, especially when I went back to school to get my master's degree. He would say, just keep your head down and keep plugging away and you'll get there. I'm always in your corner. I'm always in your corner. And remember, Steve, cream rises to the top, my daughter. When I didn't think I could accomplish something, he was my biggest cheerleader, always listening, understanding, and validating my feelings. He loved to travel, especially to warm places. His ideal vacation was anywhere with palm trees, sun, and someplace he could sip on a pina colada while lying on the beach or in front of the pool. We spent many moments discussing how he hated Michigan winters, wishing we were somewhere warmer or back in Hawaii. We went there in 2006, and ever since that trip, it became his ideal paradise. If you know my dad, then you know how he loved his Harley-Davidson t-shirts, but it had to have a left breast pocket. He had to have a place for his reading glasses and cell phone. If there was no pocket, he absolutely wasn't interested, no matter how much he liked the shirt. He loved to eat good food. We are Lebanese and Jewish, for goodness sake. You could often see him enjoying Lebanese food at Meza, lunch at the grill, or sitting up at the bar at Spazita's just making friends and enjoying a good meal with a glass of wine. He was great at making new friends and having engaging conversations about current affairs. He loved having long lunches. He would spend at least 2.5 hours having lunch or brunch with friends, and always with my Uncle Tommy, of course. I would sometimes join them. If I called them, even an hour after I left them, they would still all be there, still talking and laughing together. I will miss long lunches with my dad.